Hey guys, Chappy here. If you watched last week's episode, you're aware that I did a series of Guerilla Unplugged music videos. Well, let's continue that theme and talk about low budget lighting this week, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so for the shoot I wanted to do something a little crazy. I went to Home Depot and bought 3 work lights. You know, the lights you use in the garage when working on your car, or the lights you use when doing work around the house. That's right, and all 3 of these lights ran me about 60 bucks. And basically I was looking to do a 3-point lighting system when I lit Mckenna. And basically I bought 2 250 watt work lights and 1 500 watt work light. And there was other work lights available that would have got me even more wattage, even more than 1,000 watts. But this is about what I needed to light one person sitting in a stationary position. At least this is what I knew would work working with my film lights. So these lights went out of the garage and into the studio. Now just like last week when I used the flip cam, I gotta be honest, I was really nervous. I mean, I had no idea if this was even going to work. But in the theme of making guerrilla videos, I just had to try it. I mean, my lighting kit alone ran me about 1,500 bucks. And at times I like to rent lights as well, like from a film house. Say like an RE kit with a bunch of Fresnels. A lighting kit like that usually runs me a couple $100s. That's a big difference in cost when you consider this cost me 60 bucks. So when I set up to do the Guerilla Unplugged video, I used one 250 watt light as a backlight, I placed a second 250 watt light as a key, and I used the 500 watt light as a fill. Now I didn't even know if this was gonna work, so I didn't put any time to making light stands or anything like that. I just used my light stands that I have for my lighting kit, but just replaced my open face lights with the work lights, just like this. Now I would have preferred to put the 500 watt light up in the air, probably about 7 feet up. But I ran out of light stands and I just put the 500 watt light on the ground. I had a few concerns when it came to working with these lights. Would the color temperature of all 3 of these lights be consistent and would they match? Would both 250 watt bulbs provide the same amount of light? And most importantly, would I look really unprofessional trying to use these lights instead of my film lights? I did have my film lights as a backup just in case this whole thing didn't work, but I never took them out of the bag. Well, in the end, I gotta say that it worked out pretty well. I only really had 2 issues when I was doing this whole setup. One was the work lights had no barn doors, so it was a lot harder to direct the beam of light exactly where I wanted it. And the other problem was the 500 watt light got pretty hot and was actually starting to melt the gels in the diffusion. So I put a metal rod between the light and the gels to allow the heat to dissipate and prevent the gels from catching fire. But other than that, I have no complaints. And there's 2 other things I want to mention that are pretty cool. Work lights are designed to be used everywhere, even outside and even when it's raining. You know, I don't know if I could say the same thing about my film lights, and even if I could put them in the rain, I don't know if I would want to considering how much money I spent on them. The other thing about these work lights that is cool is, let's just say I have a bulb blowout. Well, all I got to do is go down to Home Depot and get another one. I don't need to get online and order one and wait for a week. You know, when it comes to filmmaking, I can never have enough lights. Yes, these lights weren't intended for filmmaking, but there's no reason why you can't come up with ways to make them work. For $60, it's well worth the hassle to get a little more creative, to use a little ingenuity. And that's what low-budget filmmaking is all about. Now, I want to talk to you guys about next week. Now, my series Growing Up Guide Pup, which is what I make with my wife, it's all about raising guide dogs for the blind, and I'm not sure you're aware, but we have a little dog named Ricky, who's in the show and stars in the show. Well, anyways, we're going to LA to screen our series, so I'm not going to be putting a new episode up next week. However, I do have another Mckenna Faith Guerilla Unplugged video where you can check out the lighting tricks and watch more flip cam footage. So check in and see that next Wednesday, and we'll see you next time.